Hello there. Welcome back to Financial Accounting at 5. In this video, I want to look at a question paper of November 2021. And we are going to look at a question on branch accounting. Branch accounting is on question 3, which reads the business head office is in Durban and it is a branch in Cape Town. All stock is transferred from the head office warehouse to the storeroom at selling price. So we take note that stock is being transferred at selling price. Remember, stock can be transferred also at cost price. So in this case, we have got selling price. The next selling price is cost price plus 50%. So very clear as we see that it is cost price is 100%. Then we add our markup, which is 50%, to get the selling price, which is will be now 150%. So this is the representation in terms of percentages. Then next part is that all money received are deposited into the branch bank account and transferred at the end of financial period to head office. Then we're given the following information is applicable to the branch for the year ended 30 March 2019. So basically, this is what we have. So we've got a list of balances that we are given that you need to go through before going to the requirements of the question. And of course, you see that cash transfer to head office is a question mark, and balance branch debtors is a question mark. So what it means is we are going to find these figures as balance figures as they are given as question marks. They were also given additional information which you just need to go through. And then on the required parts, you see that it reads from the given information, compare the following accounts in the books of head office as at 30 March 2019, round off to the nearest rand, which is very important. The first part, we need to prepare the branch inventory account. We also need to prepare branch adjustment account, branch bank account. We also have branch debtors, which is debtors being the trade receivables. We also have branch profit and loss. So with a total of 40 marks as indicated for the question of branch accounts. So if you go back to the information given in the question, you are going to notice that we do not have opening balances, which are going to be our balance BDs for the current period. So opening balances are not stated, so it means we are not going to have our balance any balance BD in any account since we don't have that information. So we start with the first item that we have in the list, whereby it is inventory from head office at selling price. So we know that when this inventory is being transferred at selling price, there are supposed to be two double entries that are involved. In this case, this inventory is moving from the head office and going to the branch. So the branch is the one that is going to receive this inventory. So we are going to debit the branch inventory. So we have got two double entries. One, the first double entry is going to be done at selling price, and then we have got the second double entry being done at markup price. So double entry at selling price. So we are going to debit a branch inventory. And then we credit goods to branch. So that's the first double entry that we have. That is double entry being done at selling price. Then we also have a double entry at markup. So at markup now, we are supposed to debit inventory to branch with the markup amount. And then we credit the branch at so basically, these are the two double entries that we're going to effect according to our 603,500. Remember, this part of having two double entries is only applicable when inventory is either moving from the head office to the branch or moving from the branch to the head office. That's only when we can effect the two double entry procedure. So with that now, it means this 603,500 is now the selling price, is indicated that inventory from head office at selling price. So it actually indicates that the selling price amount is the 603,500 as given. So in that case, we put our amount there. That is going to be the double entry at selling price. That is 603,500. But then the markup, we are not given it. We have to calculate the markup amount that is going to affect the second double entry. So we can clearly see that from our formula that we have there, this is our cost price, and we add our markup, we get our selling price. So of course, the figure that we are given, 603,500, is the selling price, which is 150%. So basically, we are saying 150. 150% is equals to 603,500. And then the figure that we are looking for is the markup figure, which is 50%. So 50% is the figure that we are looking for. So question mark. So we just employ that proportionate calculation, whereby we say what we don't have is 50%. We make it at the numerator. What we have is 150%. We make at the denominator, then multiply by the given figure, which is 603,500. So basically, that's what we have. So we try to multiply and see what exactly do we get. So see that you are going to get it as 201,167.666, as we see like that. But then if you go to our question, our requirements of the question, they say round off to the nearest rand. Very important. So we go back and round off our figure to the nearest rand. We see that after calculating this, we've got 166. We can just correct this part, whereby we have our 7 is supposed to be 166. So 166.666. So with that now, we round it to the nearest rand. We see that our rand is here. So we check the figure behind is 6. I think the range 5 to 9. So it's going to add 1 to 6 to become a 7. So here is going to be +1. And then it becomes 201,167. So this is the amount that's supposed to come here as our markup value, which is going to be 201,167, correct? Just like that. So with that now, we can now go to our ledger accounts that we have in the question. But if you check on the first double entry, we are going to debit the branch inventory. It's being asked in the question. We go there and debit. But the goods to branch is not part of the accounts that are required in the question. You see that we do not have the goods to branch account. If you check, you see that we do not have. So in that case, it means the second double entry that we have, we are going to ignore it since we do not have that account as asked. So we only go to the debit side of the branch inventory and debit. So we come here, we do go to the debit side, where we are going to indicate that this entry is going to be posted to the goods to branch. So we say goods to branch, where we have got a selling price, remember, which is 603,500. Then the corresponding entry of crediting goods to branch, we are not going to affect that since we do not have the account there. So we go to the second double entry. Remember, we said we debit inventory to branch and credit the branch adjustment. So the inventory to branch part is not also part of our question. So we are not going to debit inventory to branch. Since it's not asked in the question, we only go to the credit side of the branch adjustment, which is asked in the question, and credit branch adjustment. So we look for that account, which is the branch adjustment, which we have here. So we're going to go to the credit side, and of course, we are going to indicate it as inventory to branch or the details column. So inventory to branch, the amount we've calculated it, remember, what we got was 201,167. So this is what we have. So we have completed the double entry that's involved in terms of those goods that were transferred. Then from there, we are supposed to move on to the next item which we have, which is branch sales. We have got cash 103,000 598. We also have credit 345,600. So in terms of the first one, which is cash, of course, this is supposed to be debited to the bank account. Since these are sales on cash basis, we are going to debit the bank account. We've got the branch bank account according to our question. So we go to the debit side there and debit. And also the corresponding entry is that we credit the branch inventory account with the selling price 598. So that's the double entry that we have on the first part of cash. So we go to the credit side of the branch inventory, whereby we are going to credit, and we are saying bank, which is branch bank. And the amount, remember, it is 103,598. And then, of course, we are supposed now to go to the debit side of the branch bank. We have it in the question, so we look for that account, branch bank. We check which one do we have, which branch bank is here. So we go to the debit side, and this figure is coming from the branch inventory. So we say branch inventory. So branch inventory, we see that the amount for branch inventory, remember we are going to use the same amount, which is 103,598. So we are done with that one. Then we move on to the next item, which is going to be credit. Now, these are sales on credit basis. 345,600. So likewise, we're going to credit the branch inventory with 345,600. But then these are sales not on cash basis. So it means we are supposed to go to the branch debtors or the branch trade receivables account. And then we are supposed to debit in the branch trade receivables account or the branch debtors account. So we look for that account again, branch trade receivables. So we see that we have got our branch trade receivables. So we go to the debit side, and the figure is coming from branch inventory. So we are saying branch inventory. So remember the amount is 345,600. 345,600 is indicated on this part. So that is what we have on that part. So I remember it's supposed also to be credited to the branch inventory account. So we go to the branch inventory account. So we've got a branch inventory, and this is transferred to the branch trade receivables. So we complete the double entry. And remember the amount that we have is 345,600. So we are done with that one. We go to the next one. So we are done with this one, which is 345,600. We go to returns. We go to returns to head office by branch. So obviously, this is now a reverse in terms of the one that we did when it was coming from head office. This one now is going to head office. So we're supposed to credit branch inventory. We credit a branch inventory with 5,300, which is supposed to be having a corresponding entry of debiting the goods to branch account, of which we do not have the goods to branch account according to the question. So we only go to the credit side of the branch inventory and put 5,300. So here we are saying goes to branch. Which is 5,600 as the amount given. 5,300, we can just correct that. Remember the figure that we are picking is this one, which is 5,300. So we have 5,300. Then we are done with that one. We go to expenditures of branch paid by head office. Expenditures of branch paid by head office. And of course, we have fuel 300, rent 8,800, which means these amounts were not paid by the branch bank account, but they are paid by branch head office account, of which we do not have branch head we do not have the head office bank account. We only have the branch bank account. So in that case, we are not going to include that those transactions of fuel, rent, and salaries and wages in the branch bank account. So we are only going to take them and put them in the profit and loss account. It's only going to affect the profit and loss account, whereby they are expenses which are supposed to go to the debit side of the branch profit and loss account. So we've got 300, we've got 8,800, we have got 34,900. So we are supposed to list them in the branch profit and loss. So look for that one. But of course, we do not take the figures as they are, because remember, we should abide by the matching principle, whereby we are saying we should record what belongs to the current year, the same current year. We should match expenses to the income of that period. So in that case now, we see that we are given the branch fuel is 300. Then we check in the additional information if you've got anything that is affecting our branch fuel. So we go to the additional information and try to see if we have anything that is affecting branch fuel, so that we do not have anything that is mentioned in branch fuel. So in that case, we assume that the figure that we are given here, 300, is the same figure that applies to the current period. So we go to the temp site and we are saying branch fuel. Which is 300. And then the next item that we have is a branch rent, 8,800. Again, we don't take the figure as it is, 8,800. We check again its information, anything affecting the rent. So we come at A, it reads rent paid is 800 rands per month. So remember, we are supposed to enter the total amount for the current period. That is for 12 months. Remember, our financial period is for 12 months. So we are supposed to put a figure for 12 months, whether the amount was paid or not. They're supposed to be added in the profit and loss as the whole amount. So that's why we add whenever there's an accrual, we add anything owing, we add, and then if you've got prepayments, we are saying we have paid more than what is supposed to be paid. So that's why we subtract so that we remain with the amount of the same that is supposed to be for the current period for 12 months. So with that now, see that if the rent is 800 per month, it means the rent for 12 months supposed to be 800 times 12. So let's try to calculate and see what we get there. 800 times 12. So we're going to get your amount is 9,600. So that means this is the amount that is supposed to go to the profit and loss for a rent. So it's supposed to be branch rent. So we come here, we say branch rent. $9,600. But then if you go back to the information, you would see that now the rent that was paid is the one that is given in the list of balances. It was the rate that was paid was only 8,800, but what was supposed to be paid is 9,600. So the rate not yet paid is now 9,600 minus 8,800. Then we calculate to see which one do we get. So if we subtract there, you are going to get your amount as 800. So it means 800 is not yet paid. So you provide it in the brackets to show that there's something that was outstanding by saying 8,800 plus 800. You will get to 9,600, which is supposed to be for the period. So we come here, we indicate as such, so by we are saying 8,800 plus 800 in brackets. And then from there, we'll move on to the next item, which is supposed to be a branch salaries and wages, 34,900. So for branch salaries and wages again, we check if we've got anything affecting branch salaries and wages. Additional information, we see that we do not have anything that is affecting branch salaries and wages. So we check the figure as it is, which is 34,900. So we come here, we say branch salaries and wages. And the amount that we have is 34,000. Supposed to be 34,900. And then we are done with that. We look for the next one. We see that we are done with expenditures of branch paid by head office. So we go to expenditures paid by branch now. We've got water electricity, 8,700. Of course, remember we are saying we do not enter the figure as it is. What we are supposed to do is to check if we've got any accruals or prepayments according to additional information. So we are just simply going to do that. We have got water electricity for March 2019 was not paid. For March was not paid. March is the last day of the we can check according to our financial period. Remember, our financial period is ending 30 March 2019, which means it started 1 April 2018 to 30 March 2019. So they are now saying the one for March is not yet paid. That's what this statement is saying. Water electricity for March 2019 was not paid. So it means the figure for water electricity that we are given is for 11 months. This one is for 11 months. So we need to find the monthly amount for water and electricity so that we can be able to account for the last month of March that was not paid. So if we say 18,700, you divide it by 11. So we can try to calculate there and see what we get. So you're going to get 1,700. So it means the monthly water and electricity amount was 1,700. So this applies also for March, which is not yet paid. So it means this is an outstanding amount. We're supposed to add it to 18,700 to get to the total amount for the period. So we come here, we say branch water and electricity. So we have branch water. Branch water electricity, which is now we are adding 1,700 to the figure that we have here, 18,700 plus 1,700. So let's add the 2 and see what total to get. We're going to get it as 20,400. So we have got 20,400. So that's the figure that we are supposed to have for water and electricity for the period. Then the next item is branch, is a branch telephone, which we are having on that part. We have got 700, but of course, we check additional information again, which if you have got anything that is affecting telephone, we see that we do not have anything that is affecting telephone. So we're supposed to have our branch telephone, which is supposed to be 700. The figure as it is, since we do not have any adjustment for telephone, so we take 700. So we are saying branch telephone, and it's 700. So basically, this is what we have on that part. When we can just try to extend our lines. So with that, after branch telephone, what next figure do we have? We've got branch stationery, which is 600. So what does it mean? It means the stationery that was bought during the period was 600. But the expense part of the stationery is the stationery that was used. So how do we get stationery that was used? We are supposed to say what was bought minus what is remaining at the end of the period. We can now get what was used, which is now going to be the expense, which is going to be part of the profit and loss. So we have what was bought as 600 as indicated. 600 is what was bought, and what was remaining at the end of the period, we're given it here on B. Stationery on hand amounted to 250 rands. So if you say 600 minus 250, you get what was used, which is the expense now. So we come here, we say stationery, branch stationery. Whereby in brackets, we are saying 600 minus 250. So that we get what was used, which is going to be the expense. So we are going to get 350. That's the expense part of stationery. Then we go after stationery, we do have cash paid by debtors. 268,000 268,600. So remember, this figure is cash paid by debtors. Remember, when we created debtors, we debited the trade receivables account, but now they are paying the amount due. It's now we are supposed to go to the opposite side. We credit the branch trade receivables account with 268,600, and then we debit the branch bank account with the amount that has been received, which is this part. So exactly as that. So we now start with debiting the branch bank with that amount, and then we later on credit the branch trade receivables with the same amount. So we check branch bank. Branch bank, we're having it here. This is an amount that has been received. So we're going to give it a description as a branch trade receivables. So remember, the amount is 268,600. Then we go to the branch trade receivables account and credit it. Branch trade receivables, and then we credit it. Remember, it's going to the branch bank. branch bank, the amount is 268,600. So we are done with that one, which is this part. Then we go to the next one, which is saying branch bad debts written off. So these are credit losses. Remember, it's an expense again, supposed to go to the branch profit and loss as an expense to the debit side. As branch credit losses 6,780. And of course, we don't take the figure as it is. We check if we have got further credit losses according to our internal information, so that we do not have further bad debts or credit losses. So we take the figure as it is, which is now branch credit losses. So if you come here, we also have branch credit losses. We'll say branch credit losses, and the amount is 6,780. Okay, so from there we move on to the next one, which is now discount allowed. Discount allowed at selling price, which is 22,400. Discount allowed at selling price 22,400. Remember, the discount allowed at selling price, we are supposed to credit the branch inventory account with that amount, and then we debit the branch adjustment. That's the double entry. So we start by crediting the branch inventory with 22,400. So we check the branch inventory. Remember, it's supposed to go to the branch adjustment. So you're saying branch adjustment, which is 22,400. And then we go to the debit side. Debit side of the branch adjustments and put 22,400 again, which is coming from branch inventory. So this is what we have for this part. And then we do proceed to the next part. We are done with 22,400. We go to branch discount allowed to debtors, 5,400, 5,410. So obviously, this is an expense. This is supposed to be an expense, and it's part of the debit side of the branch profit and loss as branch settlement discount granted, which is a discount allowed. So we go to the debit side, and we are saying branch settlement discount granted. So the amount is 5,410. So we see that we are not having the settlement discount granted account. So we are not going to do the corresponding entry. So with that, we move on to the next item, which is now balance of branch bank on 30 March 2019. So this is going to be now at the end, the balance at the end. The balance at the end is the balance CD. So this is going to be the balance CD that we have for branch bank account. So remember, normal balance for a bank account would be a BD on the debit side. So it means the CD will go to the credit side as 45,000. 45,600. So we go there to the branch bank. Branch bank. So before we put that amount, remember we do have the expenses that were paid by the branch, which we haven't entered, which is expenditures by branch. We can see them as listed there. Remember, what we said is that the figures that will be given in this list are figures of actual amounts that were paid or actual amounts that were received. So in terms of expenses, we are saying actual amounts paid. So these were expenditures paid by branch. So it means the branch bank account is going to be affected by the expenses that are under this part. As long as it's a cash item, it's going to be credited in the branch bank account. So what do we have? We have branch water and electricity. Branch water and electricity, 18,700. We're going to put it on the credit side of the branch bank account. We also have branch telephone, 700. We also have branch stationery, 600. We take the amount as they are because they represent the actual amount that were paid. And then branch stationery. So those are the three that we have to put on the credit side of the branch bank account. So we come here, we list them, whereby we've got branch telephone, branch telephone, we do have 700. We also have the branch water and electricity. Remember, these figures are the figures that we are having here. Branch water and electricity is 18,700. We are using 18,700. We also have the branch stationer. And the branch stationer is 600. Okay, so these are the figures that we have. So we now insert our balance CD on the credit side. Remember, we are talking about this balance that we are given at the bottom, balance of branch bank at the end, which is 5,600, which is going to be our CD on the credit side. So we go to the credit side, we leave a space for the balancing figure. We're supposed to have a balancing figure of the branch bank of an amount that is supposed to be transferred to the head office. So we just leave a space just in case we are going to have a lesser total on the credit side. So we have our balance CD, which is 45,600. So basically, this is what we have is our closing balance. Then we also have a closing balance. Another closing balance that we have is balance of branch stock on hand 30 March 2019. So this is going to be the branch inventory account, the end of period balance of 89,900. So remember, branch stock again is an asset. So a normal debit balance. BD will be on, the balance BD will be on the debit balance. So CD also is supposed to be seen on the credit side. So you're going to also have to have a balance CD on the credit side in the branch inventory account of 89,900. So we come here, we do proceed to the branch inventory. So we are here. We leave a space again for the balancing figure for branch inventory. We are supposed to have a balance, a branch surplus or deficit. Remember, after balancing, a surplus will be inserted in the debit side, and then a deficit will be inserted on the credit side. So we can leave just a line, and then we say balance balance CD, which we are having as 89,900. We can just compare that. confirm that figure, 89,900. So that we now see that the cash transferred to head office is the one that is going to be the balancing figure in the branch bank. That's the question mark. And then the balance branch debtors is going to be the closing balance that we have in the branch trade receivables account. So this one is the branch trade receivables closing balance. So basically, this is what we have on that part. So we're going to proceed account by account and close all the accounts that we have. So we are now going to start with the branch inventory account, whereby we compare which one has got the larger total. Remember, we've got a balancing figure which is supposed to come in this part. So if you see the total of the debit and the credit, of course, on the debit side, we've got only one figure, 603,500. Then we compare with the total of the credit side. So you're going to see that the debit side has got a greater total. So it's the one that is supposed to come both sides in between the double lines. We can put our double lines. So after you've added, you see that the debit side is the greater, which is 603,500. So we have got 603,500, which we also going to put on the credit side. Then if we say 603,500 minus all what we have on the credit side, we are going to have a balancing figure, which is supposed to be 36,702. Remember, we left space here to put this balancing figure, and this is the branch deficit. So if we had a smaller figure on the debit side, it was supposed to come here as branch surplus, and then we put the amount of the difference between the two totals. So this branch deficit is supposed to be transferred to the branch adjustment account. So before we go to the branch adjustment account, we have got a CD which is supposed to come opposite side below the double lines as our BD. So we're going to say balance BD 89,900, same amount as we have as our CD here. And then the 36,702 is supposed to come to the branch adjustment on the debit side is coming from branch inventory as the branch deficit. We have got 36,702. So remember, we also have, if you go back to our items, remember we're saying whenever we've got goods that are moving from the head office to the branch, we are also supposed to have the two double entries. And if they are moving from the branch to the head office also as returns, we are also have to have two double entries. So if you check on these returns of 5,300, we did not include those and the second double entry. So on this part, we are going to calculate the markup value so that we do the second double entry. So remember, we said it's cost price plus markup equals to our selling price. And we were saying representation in terms of percentages, we've got cost price 100% plus our markup, which we have in the question, is 50%. To get 150%. So in that case, this is returns at selling price. So we want the markup value. So we said we are going to say 50 over 150 and then we multiply by 5,300. Then we see what is the markup amount. The markup amount is going to be 1,000. Is going to be 1,767. So basically, this is what we have. So we the second double entry is the one that we did complete, which we are going to complete, whereby we are supposed to say, remember we are these are returns. So the returns we did credited with us with selling price, we credited the branch inventory, and we are supposed to debit the goods to branch. So in this case, in terms of the amount that we have um, is our markup, which is 1,767. So this is the markup. On the markup now, we are supposed to debit. We debit the branch adjustment with 1,767, and we have the corresponding entry as we post that. So with that, we move on to the first part of our entry, whereby we are going to put our 1,767 on the debit side of the branch adjustment. So this is supposed to be transferred to the goods to branch or the inventory to branch. So goods to branch and inventory to branch are being the same account. So here we can say inventory to branch or goods to branch. So we have inventory. So we are saying the inventory to branch is also called the goods to branch, same account. So with that, we have entered that second double entry that we had not entered in terms of the markup value. So with that, we can now try to balance our branch adjustment account, whereby we now check in terms of the figure that we have. Of course, according to our answer book, we do have a pre-entered figure for the balance CD of the branch adjustment account. So there's a pre-entered figure that is there for balance CD, which is 29,967. So from there, we can now balance our account, and the balance figure is supposed to be transferred to the branch profit or loss. So we can put our double lines. We can just keep a line on this part and then put our double lines. Remember, depending on where we have got a smaller total, that's where we are going to have our branch profit and loss, where we have a smaller total. So it means this CD again is supposed to come opposite side below the double lines as our BD. Same amount, 29,967. And then if you add the total of the debit and the credit, you see that the greater total, you are going to see it on the credit side where we have got 201,167. And then it's also supposed to come on the debit side as the greater total. So smaller total is on the debit side where we are going to have the balancing figure, which is supposed to be transferred to the branch profit or loss. Branch profits or loss. So if you say 201,167 minus all what we have on the debit side, we have a balancing figure that is going to be 110,331. So this amount is supposed to be posted to the branch profit or loss. So we have debited a branch adjustment. So corresponding entries were crediting branch profit or loss with 110,331. So we go to the branch profit or loss, and we go to the credit side. Where now we are going to have our 110,331 is coming from branch adjustment. So this is what we have on that part. So remember we were looking at the branch adjustment, which we have just finished. So we go to the next one. We are now on the branch bank account. So of course, we need also to balance the branch bank account, whereby we now put our double lines first. And we can see that we are supposed to have a balancing figure, and that balancing figure is supposed to be transferred to the head office. So if you check the debit and the credit, you're going to see that the total of the debit is the greater total with an amount of 372,198. And it comes on the credit side again. So when you say 372,198 minus all what we have on the credit side, you're going to get a balancing figure of 306,598. Remember, we had left a space here to put a balancing figure. And then this is transferred to the head office. So remember, if you go to the question, they are saying question mark on this part, cash transfer to head office. So this is the balance that we have found here. Is 306,598 is the amount that is supposed to be transferred to the head office. So we also have balance CD, which is supposed to come here as our balance BD. Here's an amount of 45,600. So basically, this is what we have on a branch bank account. Then we move on to the next account, which is going to be branch trade receivables. So of course, we do have some additional entries that needs to be completed in the branch trade receivables. So we do have a bad debts written off here, which is 6,780, which is supposed to go to the credit side of the branch trade receivables and reduce the balance of our trade receivables. And then we also have discount allowed to debtors. 5,410 is also supposed to be credited in the trade receivables, a branch trade receivables account. So we take those two figures and enter them in the branch trade receivables. We do have branch bad debts. And then we have got an amount of 6,780, and we have the next amount is discount allowed to debtors, which is a branch settlement discount granted. Branch settlement discount granted, which we are having is 5,410. So those are the two entries that we are still outstanding in the trade branch trade receivables. Then in terms of our closing balance, we see that we are giving it as a question mark. So which means we have to find it by calculating the balancing figure. So with that now, we can now put our double lines and leave a space for our balance CD. So if you add the total of the debit and the credit, you are going to see that we've got a greater total on the debit side, whereby we've got 345. 1,600. It also comes on the credit side. Then we subtract everything that we have on the credit side from 345,600, and we get our balance CD. And if you subtract, you are going to get an amount of 64,810, which is also supposed to come on the debit side. So basically, this is what we have on our branch trade receivables. We now left with a branch profit and loss, whereby on the branch profit and loss, we also have a further amount that we need to calculate. Remember, if you go to additional information, we are given that create provision for bad debts of 1,070. So it means this is the current balance of provision for bad debts, which is provision for credit loss, 1,070 for the current period. Then we compare with the one that we have for the previous period. If we do have one, see that we are not given for the previous period, which means it's a movement that we are seeing according to information given that the assumption now is for the previous period, we didn't have provision for bad debts, which means it was 0. So it's a movement from 0 to 1,070, which is indicating an increase. Remember, when it is an increase in provision for bad debts, it is an expense. When it is a decrease, it is income. For example, if we had the previous period amount of provision for bad debts is 2,000, we are going to have it as a decrease from 2,000 to 1,007, which is supposed to be income of the difference. So in this case, it's an increase, so it's an expense. So it's supposed also to be on the debit side of our branch profit or loss. So if you come here, we are supposed to also to put a branch allowance for credit loss. Now, which is 1,070 as indicated. So if we compare on the credit side, we've got 110,331. Then we add everything that we have on the debit side. You're supposed to add everything. You are going to see that the figure that we have on the credit side, which is 110,331, is the greater figure. So it means we're going to have a balanced figure on the debit side. So we can just leave space on the debit side. So with that now, we see that we have got 110,331, which is also supposed to come on the debit side, which is the figure 110,331. Remember, this is the figure that we have, which is greater than all what we have on the debit side. So with that now, we subtract everything that we have on the debit side to and that balance is supposed to be transferred to head office profit or loss. So if you subtract, you're going to get your balance figure as 30,821. And that marks at the end of our question on the branch accounts. That is of November 2021. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. And please let's not forget to subscribe and share the link to our colleagues who are also doing financial accounting and 5. Let's meet again in the next video.